Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
As you can see, these guys, they are so tired of being cooped up because, another day around freezing, drizzling rain, but it's going to lighten up tomorrow, thankfully. Finally. I was looking at Drought Monitor and um, basically, man, as it eased up, there's really not much going on as far as drought east of the Mississippi anymore. And when you look to like Arkansas and Louisiana, that's cleared out a lot. Even Texas has cleared out a lot. Just still Oklahoma and Kansas and some of Nebraska seem to be the hardest hit. And of course, you still have technically, drought going on in California and out west, Nevada. Absolutely. But you wouldn't think it here today. I mean, it's soggy.
It's soggy, it's wet, damp, moist, but we are grateful for the water, we're grateful for the seasons, and we're grateful to have a place for our puppies to come and play.
Yeah, absolutely. And they love it. They have so much energy. Rama's been crying all morning as we've just been basically cleaning the house and trying to learn how to use an audio interface mixer, which is not going so well. But we're off to get SD cards, and hopefully we'll have that up and running. And so last night I was reading in the Bhagavatam Purana, um, and it was just hitting me. I don't think we ever spoke about this, but one of the things that happens, as according to the Vedic tradition, is that we prepare. We literally start preparing to transition out of this world when we start getting up there more in age. Like my age, really seriously, according to Vedic tradition way of doing things. And you would just basically pay more attention to the spiritual side of things as we head into our 50s and 60s and hopefully 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Although in this world, you know how things are.
If you do get to reach those ages, it's an absolute blessing that you've made it this far. And yes, getting older, it can be challenging. There's a lot of brutalities that come with it, but boy, the wisdom that you gain in this lifetime and the idea that you can pass this wisdom on to your children and reincarnation and you can understand those things, that's a huge blessing.
Rama! Cindy's got a whistle.
Ready?
Yeah, here it comes.
Here it
He's
comes.
he's already coming.
He's so psychic.
Yeah, he knows we're starting to get irritated at him, so here he comes running on back in.
Yeah.
But he just loves to run full bore. But you can. Hey, when you're a 12, 13-month puppy, this is what it is. And so, yeah, we literally start to prepare for the transition by putting more emphasis on the spiritual. And we see this, like if you come from a martial arts background, at some time you switch from the external types of martial arts, karate, taekwondo, things that are more combative, and you move towards the internal, like tai chi, or some of those, or some of the other internal arts. And it's only kind of natural, but there's really genius behind that, because what you're doing is you're paying attention to your frequencies. You're starting to be a little bit less of this world in preparation for what's coming next. And you're also guarding your frequency and focusing on raising your vibrations, because you view each life as being a successive page, truly just a page, and the book of the soul, let's say. Every single life is setting up the next.
Yeah, you look at things and you can take that down smaller. You can say, say you're preparing this hour to go to work for the next hour, or you're preparing this day. Everything that you do is going to add to your day tomorrow. So the more you can get done for today, the more of a jump start you're going to have on tomorrow. And that's just almost goes along with the concept as above, so below. It's like always preparing for something better.
Yeah, so you just incorporate more and more into your daily life as far as your spiritual practice. And then of course in these times, let's be realistic about it. We have people that are of any age dropping and dying suddenly from heart attacks, strokes, myocarditis, etc., etc. The plague upon the land and all the things associated with the plague upon the land. And of course, we have the threat and specter of World War III coming out. And in war, obviously, especially if a war is happening literally where you live or in your area. I mean, people, maybe this is some of the history that at this point in time gets a little bit forgotten. Into the tubes, into the subways. Quick, take cover. We're being bombed. I mean, realistically, you can pass on at any time. And one of the reasons why there is nonstop warfare on the planet is that the controllers want to keep you in their frequency. As we've said so many times, this is why they have nonstop warfare. And again, people are catching on to this big picture. It's becoming more and more obvious because we are waking up spiritually, and we're starting to connect the dots and realize they keep saying all these things are for our good and our protection, but how come life expectancy is going backwards? How come it seems like what they're telling us is the inverse of what's true? So again, they want to keep you locked into this frequency. And in reality, right now, we have a get out of jail free card we could play, and nature would allow us to play it totally. And we could just, jump out of the 3 and 4D loop and find ourselves up in a 5D existence, which in comparison, in reality, really would be a heavenly type of existence. But one of the things that's interesting too, when you look at life throughout all these different densities, one of the heaviest, most populated places is the 5D. The 5D is kind of the place where most beings would prefer to be.
Absolutely, and we have to continually prepare for that information to, because it's all about frequency. And if you look at the controlling aspect of stuff, they're always doing stuff to try to pull back our frequency, control our frequency, change our frequency, because that has an impact when you decide to depart this body. And I was also looking back at many of the methods they would use as far as torture is concerned, and that goes beyond just physical pain. That actually affects somebody's vibration. It can pull them down in density. So these are things we have to take into consideration as well. Even indigenous tribes, so many ways that they messed up those lineages was through through lineage. I mean, through rituals, doing things, in not just 3D, but doing things in 4D, to try to grab hold of these energies and control them and take down a whole really strong family line. And then here we are in modern times. We really don't have any idea of these things. If you're one of those uh, persons from one of those lineages and you're having a really hard time, well, that goes deeper. That goes through uh, through past times when they have done rituals to tweak or torque that energy.
Mm. Yeah, it's a very, very dark thing that we are facing, and the reality of the darkness of this control system is becoming so apparent with its, puppets with their smiling faces, and we could all now start to, all you guys certainly that are watching this video, see right through it, completely right through it. You know every single thing they're saying to you. If you took the inverse, you'd be much closer to the truth than if you took what they say. It's all done so purposely to keep you under their spell, within their reach, because again, naturally, this would be a time where we can move on into that 5D. And the 5D again is a heavily populated area. Why? Well, because you can manifest things so much quicker than what we have on 3D. And also, like when we're talking 4D, lower 4D is a really, this is where we are walking through right now. Lower 4D is a very, very low vibrational area where all these beings find themselves drawn to and pulled towards. And so, obviously, this is not for the faint of heart, but when you get to the middle of 4D, it is certainly not a bad place at all. It's a peaceful place. It's a place where the soul can truly rest and take its time to ascertain what it wants to do next, given its karmic, um, its karmic spreadsheet, so to say. You could almost view karma as you, if you want, in a way as a currency. What couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, karma, that's something that you can focus on yourself. And karma is something that we accrue, and it doesn't have to be always be bad karma. We can accrue good karma too.
Absolutely. As yes, the kids are going through streams and ponds here, and even though it's like 31 degrees out, they seem to like it. Yeah, they're crazy, but that is youth. Youth can be crazy at times, but also very enjoyable. So I just wanted to touch on those points. We did have a visitation by a new collective, and it was a collective. It was a very, very high frequency collective that's going to be working with us as well. And they did say we could refer to them as Pleiadians of alike, but when Cindy's looking at them, most beings, like on 5D, what do they appear like? They appear like a humanoid figure, if they are of a humanoid, background lineage, yet more pure energy. Well, these beings, she couldn't even see any sort of shape to them. They were really just pure consciousness. So we're kind of thinking this is more of a 7D, or maybe even higher than that, collective.
Definitely something different, because I can always see entity when I look. When I look at these, there's a very strong presence, but then it's crystal clear, the energy, or it's like, I don't know, it has this clarity to it, and I've never experienced anything like that. So I'm very curious about them.
Absolutely. So they want to speak to you guys. To you guys, they understand what we're doing, and they understand Cindy's abilities, and so they will utilize us to speak to you. And of course, they ask our permission, because that's what these benevolent beings do. They say, would you want to work with us? And the feeling I was getting off of them is like some of the most blissful feelings I've felt during kirtan and during bhakti practice. Bhakti, again, is taken literally to mean devotional practice, and that's the chanting of mantras and playing of music and levity, and just nice interaction with positive intent and energy calling on the benevolent beings. Well, their energy felt like some of the highest levels of mantra bhakti kirtan that I've experienced. It was very, very blissful energy coming on through the crown chakra. And again, there's no hiding who and what you are, uh, because everything is energy when you get to the higher densities. This is really the realm right here, in the 3D, where people can lie to you. Where if you're not so perceptive, if your pineal gland's not really functioning, then you can be led astray and fooled. And even those that have an active pineal gland, sometimes you're hoping for the best and you're wanting to trust people. So you choose to trust and hope that they will do the right and highest thing. And sometimes they may, and sometimes they might not.
Hmm. When you're learning to use your instincts, pineal gland, you are going to make mistakes. I mean, you have to make mistakes for growth. And then sometimes you can even look at it as if there are no mistakes. Everything that happens has a very divine reason. It's for you to gain knowledge and understanding yourself and understanding the world that you live in. But just remember, there's going to be highs and lows when we're learning how to use our intuitive gifts and abilities.
Yeah, I mean, to give you a for instance, it could be that you were slaves on the run and being helped by the Underground Railroad. and the contact you're meeting has all the best intentions. Or maybe this is World War II and you find yourself, behind enemy lines and they're looking to get you. And again, you meet somebody and you trust them initially and they do feel right. And you know what? They would have done you right until there's soldiers with guns pointed at them. And then the fear lowers their frequency and they end up turning you in instead of, helping you to get free. Oh, there's going to be so much of these type of things ahead of us. And again, these trying times are opportunities for tremendous soul growth if we view it as that. And if we view it from a point of fearlessness, knowing, hey, this body is temporary, but the soul goes on. And Ken, Theoria
Apophysis?
apophysis, yes, I had to play it back for Cindy. He did one yesterday, which I really liked what he said because, he does take things from a slightly different angle than we do. Um, but again, he was just saying when he was questioned about life after death, he said, "Why not turn it back and give them the question? Why would you think you are that dies?" And it's true. I mean, why would you even think that you are your body? Because you're not your body, you're consciousness. And again, so many people have realized this when they've been in different, places, accidents, all of a sudden looking down at their body on the operating table, all of a sudden looking down on their body, maybe ready to pass on, maybe clinically dead and brought back. Hey, they're still there. And they even see everybody crying or trying to revive and resuscitate them, depending on what the situation is. Well, we are that. We are that. We are the consciousness itself. The body is just the vehicle.
Right, and to answer that question, why would you think you are the one to die? Well, that's because we've been taught that. It's our indoctrination. So having to look back and look at our indoctrination and know that we have a lot to let go of and a lot to learn.
So obviously, there's a lot to do to be self-supportive, to learn to grow your own food, because again, we cannot trust the food. There's an attack on the food system in the first place, and that which we can obtain, we can't necessarily trust it, even week to week. Always read your labels. But at the same time, no matter what we face, ultimately, this entire life is just one chapter in a much, much bigger book.
Indeed.
As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. If you need to set up an appointment with us, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. Much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.